Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today we are looking at the In Heart's Wake album, Incarnation. um, so for those of you that obviously know In Heart's Wake, they are an Australian metalcore band. They've been around for many years. I think I've covered them here before, so I'm not going to delve too much into their discography, backstory, etc, etc. Recently, one of their members left. That was just after this album dropped. They did a lovely little farewell song as a send-off for them, which was fantastic. But this album in particular serves as what they're calling a shadow counterpart to their 2012 debut album, Divination, which each song is inspired by the meanings and the ideals of certain tarot cards, their designs, and the messaging behind them. Each part of this duology of albums has 11 songs, and there are 22 major Arcana tarot cards in a single deck. So the idea is that the two albums together make a full deck of tarot cards and tracks. But as is pointed out when you look up the idea behind this album, the cards obviously in a tarot deck can also be flipped upside down, which gives them a reverse meaning, with this album exploring that darker side and the sort of more sinister underbelly to the tarot card meanings, as opposed to Divination, which looks at the more lighter, airier and hopeful side of the tarot card readings. So this album is 11 songs long, which runs for 39 minutes if you listen to the basic edition. There is also a different edition which has 2 extra bonus tracks, which takes it up to just over 40 minutes worth of music for 13 songs, which I have covered the 2 bonus songs in here. I did that last minute unintentionally, so yeah. The album starts off with track 1, which is Spitting Nails. This runs for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Starts off very quickly. The chorus comes in. It's semi-faded out. There's these drums behind it. And then it kind of all kicks off full gear into verse 1. Verse 1 then flows very quickly into verse 2. Overall, it's a very fast-paced opening track. It's great. It's a good way to kick off the album. I enjoyed the song. It was very decent. Track 2 moves to Hollow Bone. Also, I forgot to mention, Spitting Nails. The upside-down, darker version of the name is Wheel of Fortune. So Hollow Bone, also known as The World, is just shy of 4 minutes long. We kick off here with guitars, which are really solid, quick drum work, and then a shout of Hollow Bone. Verse 1 talks about the land being a living memory and how it gives its energy to those who have lived and died before us. The chorus is really solid. Fireflies of the night, dark distortion of the light, take away my name, face the violent downpour of the rain, which then gets repeated again, and then ends with wash away the pain. Before it quickly moves straight into the chorus, which adds more guitar work, more drum patterns, and it keeps up with this throughout verse 3. Looking at how the mind and body disappears when we die and things like that. The bridge is really awesome, and it seamlessly goes into a pre-chorus / final chorus to end the track off. Moving on now, we have track 3, which is called The Flood, also known as Justice, which features Winston McCall of Parkway Drive, another Aussie metal legend almost at this point. This is just over 3 minutes long. We get a slight bit of build for 11 seconds before a scream belts out through the song. Drums kick in. Verse 1 is aggressively abrasive in delivery, and these are the pre-chorus, it's ominous. I don't think there's a better word to describe the pre-chorus than ominous, honestly. At first, there's two particular lines that are like pushed back to be a little quieter, which kind of like feeds into that ominous nature, and then it shifts almost to a more forceful delivery of being said through gritted teeth. The chorus is more upbeat in pacing but not in content or nature. Outlive, outlast, the nightmare from the terror of the past, restart, restore, you cannot hide from the horror anymore, which gets repeated twice. The bridge is news clippings of flooding events straight from around the world, and straight after, Winston's verse is similar in construct to verse 1, if not identical, with him also getting a bridge and joining in to do vocals for the final chorus before we move on to track 4, sorry. Track 4 is called Orphan, also known as The Devil. This is 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We start off with a sick guitar riff for 20 seconds of the song. Then the drums scatter in over the top for a few seconds, and then you hear heavy breathing before verse 1 kicks in. With wicked lies they euthanize, injecting sin into my skin, stuck in my mind like and subscribe, eating everything inside. Verse 2 has a new metalish beat with scratching over the top of it, and it kind of devolves into this madness that stays for verse 3. The breakdown is great overall, honestly. It looks, I don't know why I'm saying it feels like a scathing look at the world, social media, and more things within and around us that kind of like plague our mentality and things. Very solid track. Track 5 is Gen Doom, the Hierophant. Again, this is about 3 minutes 45. A slower start gives way quickly to a scream of Generation Doom. Verse 1, again, sounds like it's being delivered through gritted teeth and it's a bit more angry. The chorus isn't bad, but I found the following second chorus, which is unusual, to be more catchy, especially with the opening lines of, "We were sold flesh for steel and chrome, will we crack the code before our souls erode?" The rest of it is equally as solid, and I found it to be very interesting that there was 2 choruses. It's not something you see done very often. I can't remember the last time I've seen a band's like lyrics and they've had chorus 1, chorus 2 and stuff like that. So I found that kind of interesting and unique. The breakdown was, again, very solid. And overall, it was a very enjoyable track. Moving on, we have track 6, which I might butcher this, is Shishigami, the Empress, featuring Katio Nagai of Pale Dusk, which is about 3.5 minutes long. We start immediately here, and it's got a quickish pace. The flow is really smooth. There's a particular verse that stands out because of the flow and the structuring, which was, "With the ebb and the flow, there are highs within lows. With the Alpha Omega, the devil and savior, a force from above and below." Kind of talking about the like fight between good and evil, how there's like things that will try to pull you down and try to raise you up at the same time within the universe / the world. We get some whispered Japanese lines throughout. Sorry. It's honestly just a full-on banger of a track. The feature, I feel like maybe could have been used a little better, but it's neither here nor there. Track 7 is The Tyrant, also known as The Emperor. This is just shy of 4 minutes, and we open up here with blistering drums and guitars. Verse 1, which is super solid. The pre-chorus to chorus pipeline flowed streamlined well, like into the post-chorus. It's just chef's kiss. Verse 2 again was really fucking strong. We get the same pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus pipeline again into a bridge which has a line of "I am the Kingslayer," which almost sounds like the word slayer has been like sampled from something, or like almost like Doomslayer, how they say his name. It kind of sounds similar to that. But yeah, again, super solid track. Track 8 is called Feeding the Dead, or Temperance, just over 3 minutes long. This starts with a hard build. I struggled to read my writing. My pen was kind of fucking up throughout my write, so some things I might take a little second to decipher. Yeah, so the song starts with a hard build that runs into a long, giant first verse. The pre-chorus I really enjoyed. Eternal warfare, fighting absent acceptance, killing a nightmare, facing damaged descendants. Kind of gives me like this sort of like vibe of dealing with generational traumas, trying to break the cycle. I could be reading it wrong, but that's just my interpretation of it. The chorus talks about grieving and acceptance, etc., and flows straight into verse 2. There's also a pre-chorus line of break free from the bowels of Babylon, which I felt like goes quite hard. And again, it is overall just a very solid track. And this is something I will keep saying throughout. And I feel like if anybody listens to In Heart's Wake, they already know that they're going to be getting solid, well-designed and thought-out songs. But with that, I will say, I do feel like this isn't their best album, and I will go into that a little bit more at the end. Moving on now, we have track 9, which is Mishigama, also known as The Magician. This features Chad Rulig of For the Fallen Dreams, David Gunn of King 810, and Alfonso Seville of Heartsick. And again, this is 2 minutes and 59 seconds. So my first thoughts were, you've got a minimum of 4 vocalists here when you include the In Heart's Wake guy. And the song isn't even 3 minutes long, which is wild. It starts quickly with some blistering vocals, with everyone's voice kind of interjecting a few lines here and there, and then it's like spliced up. It makes it a little chaotic. It feels very intense. Of course, David Gunn is very easy to make out his voice. He gets a few good lines for a verse, and the song ends with, "Oh yeah, what a banger," sort of like that, delivered exactly kind of how I've fucking done it. It was chaotic, it was fast-paced, it was really good. My only criticism was, honestly, if you're gonna have 3 guest features on a song, I would like that song to be a slightly longer one, so that each guest feature gets a chance to breathe, gets a verse, gets some, room to show what they can do. And then also you've got time to leave your vocalist some time to fuck around and show what they can do. Like, I feel like if anybody came through the most on this track, it was David Gunn, because he has quite a unique voice and delivery style. So, yeah. This moves on to track 10, which is Shell Shock, and this is also known as The Priestess and features Garrett Rapp of The Color Morale, and is about 3 minutes and 36 seconds long. The opening verse was really good here. The bloody drums were super solid. I wasn't a huge fan, honestly, of the guest vocalist and the clean delivery that they did. The breakdown section was really good. There was some pros and cons to this track, but if I had to be honest, I found the delivery of the cleans for the chorus that the guy from The Color Morale did almost sort of like whiny and whingy. I don't know if that's the intent behind it or if that's just the dude's delivery, but I didn't enjoy it at all, which is weird because I feel like I've heard The Color Morale before and I enjoyed their music, so I don't know what the delivery was set upon for that, because it just didn't sit well with me as a listener. And that's just my perspective as the listener. Obviously, none of what I say is, fucking industry standard, like, I'm a big music reviewer, listen to me. I'm just a fan of music that talks about music for fans of music, So, yeah. Moving on, we have track 11, which will be the final track if you're listening to the basic version of the album. This is called Transmission, also known as The Sun. It's the longest song on the album. It is 5 minutes and 25 seconds. It opens well and feels like other In Heart's Wake songs, and not part of the concept of the album, while still remaining part of the concept of the album, if that makes any fucking sense. The song talks about where do I belong when all my loved ones are gone, and dark days, lonely nights, etc. It's a very emotionally heavy song. It's emotionally driven. I feel like it's the sort of song, there's like lines and bits and bobs that everyone can relate to. It is just super well done. A phenomenal way to end the album if you're ending there. If you're carrying on and listening to the two bonus tracks, I think it serves as a good kind of break because it feels um, more in Heart's Wake than the other songs, which will feel the same listening to the two bonus tracks because they don't feel like the concept songs in a way. But yeah, I really loved Transmission. It was one of my favourite songs on the album. Moving on now to the bonus tracks, we have track 12, Apollo, which is bonus track 1. This is just shy of 3 minutes. And this is the first of two bonus tracks. Here it starts with guitar builds before the intro lines that follow into verse 1. The chorus, which I loved, is basic. It basically just feels like a song about not quitting, not giving up, bouncing back stronger, and having a very motivational mentality. And it is a motivational track, which it would work very well on like a gym playlist, a workout playlist. It's sort of got like a good BPM, a good tempo, motivational lyrics. It would work very well for anything of that nature. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Track 3 is called Carnix, Carnyx. I also realise it's track 13, not 3. This is bonus track 2. It's about 3.5 minutes long. We get an intro that's credited to Samson from a TV show called Carnivale, or Carnivale. I'm not sure how you say it. It's got a little accent above the A. And then verse 1 kicks in. It's low key. The chorus is a little bit more aggressive with the lines of, with the bones sore I cut 'em all. Can't hear you pray in a body bag. With the bones sore I cut 'em all. No face, no name in a shallow grave. Verse 2 gets a little weird with talks about headless boars being reborn, prophets screaming out of broken jaws, cutting out people's tongues, etc. It's interesting imagery. Then we go back into the chorus again, followed by a post-chorus that gets even heavier. The breakdown is war drums, chants, down-tempoed guitars. It feels threatening, ominous and heavy, and it was a great way to end the track. So, my final thoughts. Overall, it's a very solid album. It's not their best by any means, compared to the likes of, again, like Divination, their first album, and then Skywalker, Earthwalker, etc. They are fantastic albums. This one is good. There's, like I said, some can't quite put my finger on it. Obviously, there's the one feature I wasn't keen on. There was my criticism that I would like more breathing room for the more features on a song. Other than that, yeah, I can't quite put my finger on why it's not their best album, but there was something saying to me whilst I was listening to it that they've had better albums. But if I'm honest, it's still really good, still solid. I would still listen to it from cover to cover again, and I intend to do Divination to Incarnation in one sitting at some point, probably maybe tonight before SmackDown starts. So yeah, in my opinion, the vocals were as good as always. The instrumentation was fucking superb as always. Honestly, I'd probably give this album a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, I enjoyed all of it for the most part, apart from 2 criticisms that were my main things. So my top 5 tracks before we wrap this up, I'd say Mishigama, which yes, I did criticize, but I still enjoyed. Transmission, Shishigami, The Flood, and Carnix. Overall, they're some of the best tracks, some that feature really solid features, and I feel like it gives a good gist of the heaviness and the more well-crafted tracks on the album. That being said, I will see you in the next video, and remember to stay safe out there, my friends, okay? Goodbye.